Post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, will affect some 8 million Americans this year. This is one story.
My name is India. I proudly served our country in the United States Marine Corps and the United States Navy from 1981 until I was medically retired last year, 2017. I served 7 tours in the Middle East, and during that time I sustained a lot of physical injuries. But it wasn't just the physical trauma that affected me. I think the worst I came home with was with post-traumatic stress disorder. The memories of war haunt me to this day because night terrors, flashbacks to a point where I can smell the carbon. I was very angry at everything and anything, so I lost a lot of friends and family, and I just lost me. At first, I didn't want to accept that I had anything wrong with me. I try to control it, suppress it, but it's taken over my life. If anyone is experiencing PTSD or any of this, just, you have to get help. Otherwise, you're gonna go through years of hell for no reason.
India's story is just one example of how and why a person may suffer from PTSD. Dr. Freda Lewis-Hall, the Chief Medical Officer of Pfizer, is back to help us explore this often misunderstood condition. Welcome back.
Thank you. PTSD is a potentially debilitating mental condition that occurs in people who have experienced or witnessed a traumatic event. Now, many people only associate PTSD with military combat, as in India's case. And of course, we know that war experiences can really have a lifelong impact on a person.
But PTSD can affect anyone who has seen or lived through any traumatic event. It can include an accident, a natural disaster, a serious illness, assault or rape, or the sudden death of a loved one, as an example.
And you know, Dr. Travis, that's why we're really talking about this today. I mean, think about the news every day, a disaster that people are dealing with. So this is really an important time to talk about it. A new study has shown us that 20% of people who are diagnosed with breast cancer develop PTSD within 6 months of their diagnosis. And a lot of people think of PTSD as a man's disease. Turns out that in general, women are twice as likely to develop PTSD. That means about 10% of women will go on to develop PTSD at some time in their lives, and that's compared to about 4% of men.
It is important, of course, to make the distinction between PTSD versus the acute stress reaction that may follow a traumatic event. For a true PTSD diagnosis, symptoms must last more than 1 month. And these symptoms usually begin within 3 months after the traumatic event. But here's the thing, they can often show up years later. So Dr. Freda, let's talk about some of the most common symptoms of PTSD.
You can kind of categorize them in 4 types. So the first is re-experiencing. You heard India talk about flashbacks, bad dreams. The second is avoidance. People who have PTSD tend to avoid things, places, even thoughts that might remind them of the traumatic event. The third is arousal and reactivity. Now, that really points to being easily startled or feeling on edge a lot, having difficulty sleeping, or having angry outbursts. And then last but not least is cognition, or thinking, and mood. Some people say they have a difficult time remembering things, or they may be experiencing low mood, sadness, and sometimes guilt.
And let's not forget that PTSD can be really hard on children. Youngsters may stop talking, constantly act out the scary event, wet the bed, or become unusually clingy with a parent as a result of some traumatic event. The good news is PTSD can be treated and managed with therapy, medications, and self-empowerment strategies. Companion animals, as an example, may help soothe some of the symptoms. So if you think you or a loved one may have PTSD, do talk to your healthcare practitioner. They can determine if the symptoms are due to PTSD or potentially something else.
You do not have to suffer with this alone. There is so much help available. There are community organizations, veterans groups. There are organizations that pull together people where they have similar traumas and understand the nature of this condition, and they stand ready to help as well. And we've put together some information and some resources on gethealthystayhealthy.com. And so people can go there for that information. And while they're there, they can sign up for our monthly newsletter.
Well, thank you, Dr. Freda. And
Thank you.
I should say, we're certainly grateful to you, India, for your service to our country and for sharing your story with us. And there's more to come on the other side of the break.